Isn't vacation supposed to be relaxing? Then why does the process of planning, packing, and paying have to be so stressful? Today we're going to be talking about all of the details that you may need to iron out the wrinkles for, both in your clothes and in the schedule for vacation, so everybody knows what accommodations need to be booked and where everybody's meeting for dinner and who packed the sunscreen. It's a lot. So I'm going to share 7 of my favorite tips when I help get clients ready to plan for vacation throughout the year, when I plan for vacation for my own family. Some of these things you may already know and they're good reminders, and others could be brand new tips for you. So if that is something that you're interested in for spring break, then stick around and let's get into it. What's up, and welcome to the Speak Organized podcast. This is episode 6, and I am your host, Melanie Summers, professional organizer, productivity-based life coach, and decluttering expert. I like to speak organized to give you the tools to conquer your clutter, live life with more purpose, and learn all about the business of tidying. And today's episode is all about spring break as we start to set our sights on hopefully jetting off somewhere warm and rain-free. I live in the Pacific Northwest, where this time of year is just so gray and rainy with beautiful cherry blossoms. But it is nice to think about taking a weekend away to get to the beach or something like that. So I want to help you guys with 7 of my favorite tips to make the process of planning and packing much less stressful so that you can truly relax. So before we get into that, I want to make sure that if you're new here, you know all about the resources that I have for you to live the tidy life, as well as any special offers that I've got going right now. So the best thing you can do if you are looking for help with decluttering and organizing, if you're looking for a community and wanting to improve some of those areas of your life, is to join my free Facebook group. It is exclusive, it's a private group, but it's free to join for anyone, and I offer a lot of exclusive free trainings inside that group, and I like to get user-submitted requests at the beginning of each month so you can submit whatever it is that you're working on, whatever you need help with, and I often will turn those things into free mini trainings that I invite you to come and take. And our last month's free training was on conquering paper clutter. It went over really, really well. A lot of people really liked it. And so I am curious to see what other people are hoping for in April. So make sure that if you are listening to this podcast, that you check out the show notes. There will be a link to join my Facebook group there. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the link in the description as well. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast app, as well as subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that thumbs up and tap the little notification bell so you never miss out on another opportunity to learn something new about organizing and productivity. All right, let's go ahead and dive straight into it. This is a little bit more of a light-hearted podcast episode. The first 5 episodes have been really heavy into the mindset shifts that are required for doing some pretty hardcore decluttering tasks and getting organized in your home and facing some pretty heavy things. And so I wanted to take it in a slightly more enjoyable route now that it's springtime, the flowers are blooming, and everybody's thinking about hitting the beach. So we're going to dive right in. And my first tip is to have a plan at every stage. And I know that this sounds kind of micromanagey, but my biggest tip here is actually to plan time to do nothing. And like I've mentioned before, this is something that I often will help a lot of busy entrepreneurs do. I have a lot of clients who are entrepreneurs and they have a very hard time planning to relax. And so we actually sit down and get their entire calendar sketched out, an outline of their schedule for the entire year. And that often includes getting ready for vacation. And so what the first thing I usually try to recommend is to have a buffer day on either end of your vacation. So it's either going to be the first day that you arrive or the day before you leave. And then the same thing at the end. It's going to be that last day of vacation, or it's going to be the day after you arrive home. And I like to have those days completely free so that you're able to take naps, you're able to get extra things packed, you're able to just sort of rest and decompress and sort of switch gears when you're getting ready to leave, and then when you're getting ready to come back into your normal routine, work and school and all of that. So try to plan, if you can, those buffers on either end of your vacation time. And aside from planning the activities and the accommodations and the meals and things like that, all your budgeting, those are things that people are generally pretty good at. And I like to emphasize planning for free time as well, so that you can have days that you can go off and explore. There's nothing on the agenda. You know what meals you're having for that day, and you've got all your bases covered, but you really are just emphasizing the need to relax. And so, maybe like one big activity every 3 days that you're gone, so that you really do truly have time to just chill out and relax. And I know that might not be what you think of when you think of planning for vacation, because a lot of us are more interested in getting the activities on the calendar and scheduling everything out and having something to do at every single turn. And those things are great to include, but maybe just declutter them slightly so that you actually do have downtime to do nothing and sit by the pool and hang out. So that's my first tip, is to plan ahead for your free time. All right, so the next thing is going to be to check the weather in your destination and create a packing list. Believe it or not, this is one that seems like pretty common sense, but it does often get overlooked. So if you are going to a place that's going to have a lot of weather that's going to impact, like if there's going to be tons of rain or snow, wherever you happen to be, make sure that you're checking the weather report and knowing what you're coming up against. Maybe you're going to go to Hawaii and it's going to rain the entire time, and so you just want to be prepared for that as best you can, knowing sort of what is on the forecast, so that you can plan your activities to be in or outdoors accordingly, whatever you need to do. So then you can create your packing list. And this kind of goes off of our first tip of making sure that you have a plan at every stage. I really like to use packing lists, not because I'm not capable of packing without one, but because it just makes the process of planning and packing for vacation easier, because I'm not having to think about what I'm doing. It's already captured onto a piece of paper or onto a note on my phone, and I don't have to think about it, and I can think about some of the other more complex details of going away for vacation. So make sure that you're using a packing list and checking the weather. Those are two things that often get overlooked. Tip number 3 is going to be to plan your outfits for each day and pack them together. And again, I know that kind of seems like overkill, but especially for kids and really for anybody who is going to be gone, it's just one less thing that you have to consider once you're on vacation. My whole goal with this list of tips that I'm sharing is really to kind of take away some of the low-level thinking from your time that you're away, so that you really can rest. You can use your brain to be creative and take everything in and process the scenery and the memories and focus on making those memories, rather than thinking about what am I going to eat, what am I going to wear, what activities are we going to do, because you're going to have planned all of those things ahead of time. And so that is why I take it an extra step and tell you to not only create the packing list, but then also pack all of your outfits together into little bundles in your suitcase. And I have a vacation pack with me video on YouTube that I will link in the show notes and in the description of this YouTube video, so you can see a demonstration of how I do that. But basically, I will take each piece of my wardrobe for that day. If it's a Monday, I'll take Monday's outfit, the shirt, the pants, the underwear, the socks, everything, and I will fold it all together into its own little package so that when I take that out, that's Monday's outfit, assuming that, it fits the weather and everything else. And I use packing cubes inside my suitcase. They are very affordable. You can get an entire set for a full wardrobe for less than $30 and keep everything organized by day. So that is tip number 3. Tip number 4 is to consider budgeting and shopping and meal planning for at least one meal. I usually recommend breakfast because, as we know, vacation food out can get very expensive and eat away at your budget that you might want to allocate towards something else, some sort of activity, or just something more fun than figuring out what to eat every day. And so one way that I have helped my clients and myself maximize budget is to think about, especially if you're staying in like an Airbnb or a place that has a little kitchenette, you could even bring a hot plate or a toaster with you. You could get super creative and plan your breakfast meals in your room so that you can save that cash and allocate it towards something else, towards gifts or whatever it is that you would rather spend your money on, so that you're not having to get everybody up and dressed and out the door for breakfast first thing in the morning. Maybe everybody wants to sleep in a little bit. Again, continuing to max the relax and have a nice, easy time. Maybe you plan to make your breakfast in your hotel room or at your Airbnb so that you have at least one big front-loaded meal prepped and ready to go so that you don't have to wander around looking for breakfast, fighting the crowds, worrying about the wait time and this and that, and get everybody fed and out the door. So that is tip number 4. Tip number 5 is going to be to pack light and then bring extra bags for the stuff that you inevitably are going to be coming home with. And so for me, this usually is just a lightweight canvas tote bag that is pretty large but can be folded up into a very compact little bundle and stuck in my suitcase. And I try to either bring a suitcase that's slightly larger than what I actually need, or I try to just pack with a very minimalist style wardrobe and assume that I might be doing some shopping. Maybe I'm going to get some gifts for people. And so I want to make sure that I have already planned ahead to have that space in my suitcase. And this has happened to me before. It's probably happened to you. It happens to many of my clients that don't take my advice, and they say, I really should have listened to you about this, to have that extra space, because you do typically come back with more stuff than you left with. And there's nothing worse than trying to shove and cram everything in your suitcase when you're trying to leave and get to the airport, and the stress of all of that. Again, this is just you planning ahead and having the room that you need in your little temporary home of your suitcase to bring things home for your friends and family, and for yourself. So that is tip number 5. Tip number 6 is to locate all of the emergency services near where you're staying. And if you've ever been on vacation and somebody gets sick or injured, it is such a drag, and it's already kind of a stressful situation to deal with. So the best thing to do is just to plan for those things to happen, because they do happen from time to time, and just make sure that you know where the nearest hospital is, or you know where the staff is that can help you get the resources you need if somebody gets sick or injured, so that you can take care of it really quickly. I also recommend people pack a little travel first aid kit. That is another thing that surprisingly gets often overlooked, and so if you can bring that with you, that can be very helpful, or pick one up when you get to your destination if it's not legal to fly with some of those items. And just make sure that you are aware of your surroundings and you know where the emergency facilities are located. Got your bases covered, and then you won't have to worry about it. Because I think the universal law goes something like, if you're prepared for it, then nothing happens, right? I don't know. All right, and then my last tip here is to clean your house before you leave. And I think this is probably, I saved this one for last because it is the best tip. It's my favorite thing when you go away for vacation and you come home and you're already sort of maybe a little down. You wish that vacation would have possibly been more relaxing or maybe longer or whatever. You come home, you're tired, and there is nothing better than coming home to a clean house with clean sheets on the bed and everything is put away, and it just makes such a difference in my mental headspace when I'm coming home from vacation to kind of shift back into real life mode. So do yourself that favor. I even know people that go so far as to hire a cleaner to come a day or two before they leave and just do a total reset of the space and just have it all ready to go when you get home, so that you really truly can just relax from start to finish. So that is my 7 tips for maxing the relax for your prepping and packing phase of getting ready for vacation. I hope I've got some of your wheels turning and you have some ideas of how you can get that relaxation for yourself as well, and build that in. And hopefully that is in the forefront of your mind as you continue to plan for your own vacation. And beyond that, I have a special offer for you for sticking around to the end of this podcast episode. I have my very own travel packing list that is a little PDF that you can download, my free gift to you. Again, the link will be listed down in the show notes and in the YouTube description of this video, and I have 2 versions of it. I have one that I actually use for myself and my family, so it's got several columns that include all of the kids stuff as well as the adults and all of the different miscellaneous supplies that you might need for a vacation. And then I also have included just the blank version so that you can customize it according to your needs. So go ahead, snag that, my free gift to you, in the description and the show notes of this video. And beyond that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I hope that you have a fabulous vacation. Be sure to comment below if you're watching this on YouTube. Let me know where you guys are going to be hanging out for your vacation this year and which of these 7 tips you're going to try. I would love to hear what you have to say, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.